Close my mind now?
Go ahead, Rick.
Okay, get ready. I'm going to close my mind. Are you ready?
Okay.
Okay, Brad, it's closed.
You know, like that situation in North Seattle yesterday.
Wait a minute, Brett. Wait a minute.
What,
Brett.
what?
Did you hear me close my mind?
Yeah, I heard it.
Did you think it was amusing at all?
Okay. Ha, 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 ha.
You're out.
Don't quit your day job,
What
Rick.
is this crap?
You know what? I'm so glad that Brad isn't my straight man. What if we were a comedy team? And I do these wonderful, funny things, and Brad just steps right on them. No timing, no pauses, no creative silence. Just steps right on them and moves on to other things. You know what my idea of a nightmare would be? Having Brad as my comedy partner. 216. Coming up now on 217 at King 1090.
Middays with Rick Miller on King News Talk 1090.
Saving old baseball cards would have been a smart financial move. A well-kept train set from your childhood could probably turn a tidy profit. We've even heard there's a market out there for anyone who's managed to hold on to their old lunchboxes. But make no mistake, there is no redeeming value in holding on to an outdated, antiquated checking account. The same kind you had with the same ordinary features 15 to 20 years ago. What you need today is the complete checking account from First Interstate Bank. It has such modern options as free checks, no annual fee credit cards, reduced loan rates on certain loans, no fee traveler's checks, free day and night teller machine visits, and even discounts on safe deposit boxes, which just might be a good place to store your wee Willie Keeler baseball card. Rookie year, of course. Complete checking from First Interstate Bank. Certain conditions apply. Member FDIC.
Problems, problems, problems. Everybody has them. But answers aren't as plentiful. That's why there's the Dr. Laura Schlesinger Show on Cairo FM for kind, motherly advice that soothes and calms. Not.
You're so used to being the format that everybody walks on.
You'll listen to what she says and like it. It's the advice show that's not afraid to tell the truth, even when it hurts a little. That's the Dr. Laura Schlesinger Show, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on Cairo FM, 100.7.
I'm Brad Eaton, host of the morning show on Classic King FM at 98.1, inviting you to take the alternate route to work. Join me for the morning show Monday through Friday mornings between 6 and 10 o'clock. We'll have lots of great music. We'll keep in touch with the news. We'll share some interesting little stories from here and there. We'll count the birds on the Denny's sign across Aurora from the studio at 7:15 and forecast the weather. How do we do it? Well, it's amazing. You'll just have to listen. Monday through Friday morning, 6 to 10, Brad Eaton, the morning show from Classic King FM at 98.1.
We talk about the issues and what they mean to you. King News Talk 1090.
Oh, it is so wild on the Rick Miller Show today. Yeah, it's the Who Day. To think that we have gone at a rather frenzied pace for 2 hours and 20 minutes. It's just wonderful. Here, listen to that Keith Mooney. Hit him. Hit the skins, Mooney. All right. We're right up there, my friends. We're right up there in a state of total excitability, but we don't want to completely go over the top. So let's be measured in our pacing, because after all, we have 40 minutes to go, and we don't want to go so crazy that we can't even put one foot in front of the other. So maybe we ought to just level back here just a little tiny bit and kind of calm down and relax. So let's go to line one now.
Rick! First time caller!
Yes.
Hey, Rick!
Yes.
Hey, I like the setup. Thanks, Rick. I didn't see that in my script. Hey, Rick! Hey, Rick!
Yes.
Hey, I got a call from Bill Clinton yesterday.
Yeah.
He's the president. Rick!
Yes.
I don't know if you know these things. You're too busy talking about local crap. Anyway, Rick!
Yes.
You know what he says?
What?
He says, how do I get this crime bill passed? I don't know what to do. And you know what I told him?
What?
I said, beat the crap out of Bob Dole, you sissy!
Good idea. Why didn't someone else think of that? That's a terrific idea. Beat the crap out of Bob Dole. Richard in the Central District. That was, by the way, Overwrought Rick, for those of you joining up late. Richard in the Central District, you're on King 1090.
How you doing, Rico?
Fine, Richard.
I haven't talked to you in quite a while.
Good deal.
I think you need to give that last caller a Valium or something, lithium or something. Although I think Bob Dole could take Clinton because, Dole's a pretty tough guy, even though he's only got that one hand.
Yeah?
Pretty tough.
All
What
right.
I wanted to make a couple comments on marriage or whatever.
Yeah.
Let me first say I am a Christian.
Okay.
Don't let that...
I won't hold that against you.
Well, I appreciate that, Rick. You're always a gentleman. I'm getting married on Labor Day weekend coming up here.
Wow.
And it's pretty close. And I'm going through counseling right now. In my denomination, we have to go through this counseling with the minister and whatever, and we have 8 sessions.
Uh-huh.
One of the things that the minister told myself and my fiance, and I made a note in my little notes that I'm taking. Let me read this to you. He says, "Do not let third parties interfere in your marriage at any time." In other words, mother, father, brother, sister, best friend, anybody. You do not let them interfere in your marriage as far as things that you're doing, whatever is going on, anything. Now, what some of your other callers are talking about as far as someone saying, hey, I'm really tired of this relationship, I'm thinking about having an affair or whatever, that's kind of different, because if you're best buddies with somebody and he's saying that, then you're going to say, well, what about your marriage, man? You're kind of, that's not right. But that's as far as that goes. Third parties do not have the right to come in and try to take over the marriage, try to make two people stay together, especially if there's abuse or something like that.
Okay, so what? I mean, I love that, and I'm delighted that your church feels that way.
Right.
By the way, well, what church is that?
That's Seventh-day Adventist.
Seventh-day Adventist.
Right.
Although the Seventh-day Adventist, I mean, they have some beliefs, but they're not really whacked out.
No. And the thing is that, but the problem is, see, now, obviously I'm not married yet, but they have told us in counseling that, your first year is your roughest year, right? Which makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so, the first time you have an argument or something like that, well, what's going to happen? You're not going to go to your husband's mother, probably. You're going to go to your own mother or friend or whatever, who's going to be looking out for your best interests, of course. So they're going to probably agree with your side. So that's only going to add more fuel to the fire.
I think you're making a superb point. You put a capper on it, Richard. It could not be done better. I agree with you totally, and I am appalled and aghast over this letter writer to Dear Abby who feels the other way, and I feel certain in my mind that letter writer was an evangelical Christian.
Well, you know what it is, Rick, and it's unfortunate that there's so many different factions in the Christian world, and I think we've seen examples of it, especially with the killing of that abortion person, but there are people who will read the Bible, but they will not use their own common sense to interpret what is being said.
Yeah.
So that they will read the Bible and it will tell them, well, the only reason that you get a divorce is because of infidelity or whatever.
Yeah.
So they will tell a woman who's getting their face beaten in or something like that by their husband, well, you got to stay with them.
That's exactly what they will do.
And that's so irresponsible and wrong. I don't really see how people can justify that, but there are people who do.
Well said, my friend.
Yeah.
Good luck on your marriage.
Thanks a lot, Ricky. Take care.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you very much, Richard. Oh, I thought I were disconnected the wrong guy. Eric in Linwood, you're on King 1090.
Yes, this is Eric.
Yes, Eric, I'm well aware of that.
Oh, I didn't hear you say Eric.
Well, I did.
I wanted to make a comment about the guy who just called from the Seventh-day Adventist. First off, is that all right?
Sure.
I was an intern at a church locally, or actually in Kirkland, and we talked about the same thing about not interfering, and not, when people had marriage counseling, about not letting family members interfere. But it was primarily because we wanted to tell them, if they're going to interfere, then they might cause a breakup of the marriage, and that's why we don't want them to interfere.
Okay.
And I wanted.
So this woman that wrote this letter is really full of it.
Well, I think one thing that maybe isn't in the letter that should be there is what I believe, and that if you're a Christian and you see somebody who's having marital problems, you would handle that person differently according to what their belief system is. I wouldn't go up to them and tell them, why I think they should stay together if I know that they don't feel the same way I do. But if they're a Christian and they took a vow, and you see, when two Christians get married, they're what they believe is that they're taking a vow not only with the person they're marrying, but with God. It's
right.
a covenant.
So finish that sentence.
So what they're saying is that, what I would hold them up to a different standard than I would somebody who didn't have the same belief system, and I wouldn't feel right meddling with their marriage if they didn't believe what I believed, and certainly wouldn't try and press my opinions on them if they didn't want to hear them.
Well, good for you, Eric, and you are to be applauded. And all I can say is, maybe the Christians ought to get together, and maybe you folks ought to take a figurative, not literal, but figurative arms against these wild-eyed, ugly, bigoted, nasty, mean, hating and fearing evangelical Christians who give you a bad name. I would think that within the Christian community there should be a schism. Yes. Have a little schism on that. It's not easy to say schism. Wait, can you imagine Humphrey Bogart saying schism? Hello, Elsa. Let's have a schism. Adam in Olympia, you're on King 1090.
Yeah, it's good to hear some Christians taking a different viewpoint. Some of them were making me sick.
Yes.
I'm kind of afraid because in my peer group, I hear a lot of the same thing that was expressed in that letter. People feel that they should take an active part in correcting other people's problems.
And who is your peer group? Are they a bunch of Christians?
No, my peer group, as in my age group, I guess you could say the lower end of Generation X is taking
You mean people that are not oriented towards religion, but this is just their general demeanor to interfere and meddle?
Yep. I see a lot of people, someone will be having problems at home. Somebody will say, well, why don't you run away, or why don't you live with me?
Yeah.
Or someone will say, or if they're being beat or something at home, someone will say, just stick it out for the next couple years. Don't bother telling anyone.
Are these people energized by religion? Are
Some of them, I believe, are.
See, that's a religious statement. Anytime you hear somebody saying something like that, so you're talking to somebody who is deeply, I don't want to say deeply, I don't want to use that word in that context, but that is very, very encumbered with religion, and it's a bunch of crap, totally destructive, and those people should be told to butt out instantly.
Well, even I think if you were in a situation of where you're a friend,
yeah,
and you have your friend telling you that he wants to get a divorce,
yeah,
the best thing to do is listen.
I couldn't agree more, Eric. That's exactly what should be done. You should Adam rather, you should just listen. Gee, that fellow's name was Adam. I wonder if he could be any relation to Adam and Eve. Wonder what his last name was. Would it be funny if his last name was and Eve? Hello, I'm Adam and Eve. This date, 1958, this date cannot go unnoted. The novel Lolita by Vladimir Nabokov was published. My friends, if you're looking for a magnificent novel to read in which the author Nabokov uses the language in a way that is unforgettably brilliant, and you want to have laughs beyond compare, read Lolita. Oh, it's a classic, it is a fantastically good read, and it's fun. Humbert driving down the street pining, lusting for 12-year-old Lolita. All Lolita wants to do is have an ice cream cone, and Humbert says, can you imagine this fair nymph preferring a hamburger to a Humbert burger? It's a line right out of the book. It's not my fault. You know who's coming up next? We're going to have some fun with Doug Thomas, our video and movie guy, talking about the latest releases. If you have questions and stuff, get them ready, because Doug's going to join me right after the news. 2:30 at King 1090.
Hi, I'm Jerry Kay.
And I'm Gina Smith, and we're hosts of On Computers, America's #1 high-tech talk show.
Hey, Gina, we have a rule, though, on the program.
What is it?
We'll take any question.
Any question, no matter
Absolutely.
how dumb or how smart, we'll take it and answer it, maybe.
And we're also on America Online, so you can join a live chat. That's On Computers, Sunday afternoon at 4 on King. News Talk, 1090.
King News Talk 1090 Midday News Update.
Good afternoon. It's 2:31. I'm Bill Polish in the King 1090 News Center. Whitewater has pushed yet another federal official out of a job. The Treasury Department's top lawyer, Gene Hansen, has resigned. ABC's Tony Sargent has details.
The 44-year-old Treasury General Counsel took a lot of heat during congressional hearings on Whitewater. Her testimony suggested other Treasury officials might not have been squaring with Congress on when they learned of contacts with the White House about an investigation of an Arkansas savings and loan. That failed S&L had past ties to some of the Clintons' investments. Hansen goes back to the New York law firm she came from as soon as the Treasury Department finds somebody to be its top lawyer. Tony Sargent, ABC News, Washington.
King County Police and Department of Labor and Industries inspectors are now trying to find out why a crane collapsed inside the King Dome last night. 2 workers who were sandblasting the concrete dome ceiling were killed, and the crane operator suffered some minor injuries. King County Exec Gary Locke says work will not resume until the investigation inside the dome is wrapped up.
The question is, what happens now? We've contacted the Mariners and the Seahawks, and they concur in our decision to put safety first.
And no one knows how long the investigation will take to complete, when work will resume, or when the dome might reopen for business. Trying to protect Puget Sound from a huge oil spill, the Coast Guard is now ordering tugboat escorts for oil tankers sailing through the area. The Coast Guard order will require 2 escort tugs for single-hulled oil tankers to keep them from colliding with other ships or from running aground. Kathy Fletcher with People for Puget Sound says it's about time.
The problem is these big tankers are hard to control. If they run into trouble, you can prevent an oil spill if you've got the proper tugs right there.
Now she says the area really needs some kind of emergency response ship that could minimize damage should a tanker spill occur. The final move she'd like to see is elimination of all single-hull tankers. We'll be back with a look at traffic and weather together right after this.
Nothing ever happens to me. I'm never lost. I'm never late.
Nothing ever happens to me.
My tires are never flat.
My battery is never dead.
Nothing ever happens to me.
I never get stuck in traffic.
I never get hit. I never hit anyone.
Nothing ever happens to me.
The directions are never wrong.
Turns are always clearly marked.
Nothing ever happens to me.
Drunks never drive on this street.
Weirdos never stop at this light. In this world, you can either count on your luck.
I never drive at night.
I never drive in strange neighborhoods.
Or you can count on a Motorola. They're the world's best-selling cellular phones. They're simple, they're dependable, and they're built to last, no matter what happens.
I can always find a gas station.
Motorola cellular phones.
There's a cop on every corner.
Make sure you get the best service for your cellular phone. Call U.S. West Cellular. Dial 1-800-BUY-TIME, extension 601.
Okay, are you ready with the music and sound effects?
Ready.
Hit it. The 1994 Kitsap Fair and Rodeo starts August 24th. And once again, it's time for cowboys, clowns, pigs, horses, cows, and cotton candy. Play the sound effect for cotton candy.
Well, like what? I mean...
Well, look around for something.
Okay.
It's Bovine Boogie at the Kitsap County Fair and Rodeo. And 5 big days of family fun, free entertainment, contests, and 3 nights of wild rodeo action. And on Wednesday, August 24th, country star Colin Ray performs live in concert. So be there. The 1994 Kitsap Fair and Rodeo. Cowboys, clowns, pigs, horses, cows, and cotton candy. What's that?
Too much cotton candy and you could get a cavity.
Yeah. The 94 Kitsap Fair and Rodeo starts August 24th.
They gonna have sheep?
Yeah, probably. That's just brilliant.
Thanks.
It's traffic time right now. Let's go see how the roads are looking with Janet Ryan and the King 1090 All-Day Traffic Watch.
I think we've kicked into an afternoon commute already. Southbound 5 slowing south of Northgate down to the Ship Canal Bridge, again approaching the Convention Center. Starting to see the beginnings of some slowdowns either direction on 405 through the S-curves. Some somewhat slow westbound 520 approaching the bridge deck. And, of course, construction down in Tacoma wreaking havoc, slowing heavily southbound 5 between Gravelly and Nisqually. And either direction of 5 may be affected by a little construction across the Puyallup River. King 1090 weather sunny today, highs in the low 80s. It's 2:35, and that's traffic and weather together on King News Talk 1090.
78 degrees and clear. That's the reading right now at Boeing Field. I'm Bill Polish in the King 1090 News Center.
Outspoken, outrageous, out loud. Spend more of your midday with Rick Miller on King News Talk 1090.
2:35 at King 1090. I'm Rick Miller. Boy, what a great day this is. Cinemaven Communications Head Doug Thomas joins us. Doug.
Yes.
Cinemaven Communications, your new company.
Well, yeah, it's what happened this year when being an outside contractor for Movie Reviewer, like with King Radio here, I just, and with the newsletter that came out, that was the company name that we decided to do, so... Yes, Rick says I just got these little business cards, and I was very proud of it.
Well, I think it's neat. It's a great name. What a great positioning name, Cinemaven.
Yeah.
See,
a lot of people call it Cinemarvin, but I have to correct them very nicely.
Cinemaven Communications.
Marvin Webster fans or something. I don't know.
Well, look, Doug, here's my deal on movies.
Okay.
It would appear to me that in August they dump a bunch of dreck on us. I mean, the Little Rascals. What possible excuse can we have for this?
But the excuse is we're going to probably see Little Rascals Part 2.
It did well at the box office, didn't it?
Yeah, it did surprisingly well. It opened at $10 million. August is just kind of usually a dumping ground for movies that they didn't think they could get released in the early part of the summer when there's a lot of competition. And then you start getting into the fall where you start putting your prestige Oscar-type movies out. And August usually kind of leaves a couple little big hits here and there. And then what usually happens is the big summer movies which come out the end of July, like Forrest Gump, which is still doing well, Clear and Present Danger, The Mask, is really cleaning up at the box office. And there's, like this week, there's not a lot of strong competition coming out. And we won't see any strong competition until probably September.
Well, we're not going to say anything bad, are we, about Clear and Present Danger starring Harrison Ford?
No, we talked about it last time. I
did?
I had a great time with it. I was surprised, especially because a lot of the creators of Patriot Games did it, which I thought was kind of simplistic. And this is a good, it's a great film to go see on a big screen in a big theater. I went up to the Mountain Lake 9, and boy, I think that's worth your money.
Okay, what are the latest movies out that we should either consider or reject out of hand?
Well, for the Seattle-type crowd, and you know who you are, the winner of the Seattle Film Festival came out last week in its regular run. This is The Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, possibly the greatest title of the year. This is an Australian import that it also won the Audience Festival Award winner at Cannes, dealing with three drag queens who go out in the desert in Australia and they're kind of misadventures. It's a film that's not a message movie as much as it's just an outrageous comedy for people who like the other Australian imports, Simply Ballroom. This is the same kind of outrageousness that works well. The subtle message is moved in, I think, very well in the last third of the movie, and gives some actors, especially Terrence Stamp, who's been around forever, some new places literally to go in his career. But it was a film that I've seen with a big audience, and they howl. It's a movie that if you want to go see a good, fun comedy, go to The Egyptian and see Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
I wouldn't have thought I'd be interested in that, but okay.
But if it charmed people here and in France, that's 2/5 of the world right there.
I would agree. What else?
Oh, what else? Let's see here. One that I did like. We talked about last time, Eat, Drink, Man, Woman is still around, which also played at the Seattle Film Festival. This week we have two coming out. One that was Karina, which is with Whoopi Goldberg and Ray Liotta. And this is a film that, for anyone who was a big Whoopi Goldberg fan, who just drags people to go see something like some dreck, like Sister Act 2, please go take your family and your friends to go see this movie. Whoopi Goldberg does some of her best work in movies no one sees. This is a very charming, very nice PG film about a nanny in the 50s who gets together and kind of becomes a soulmate of a young girl and her father. It's nothing great. It's nothing 4-star blow me away. But for Whoopi Goldberg fans who seem to desert this star when she does some very good work, she has something special. It's that something special that we see in great actors, and this is a terrific showcase for Whoopi Goldberg. I can't recommend it enough for those fans.
You know, I'm amazed, too, because Whoopi Goldberg is not my favorite. In fact, I can't stand her. And yet, I know that this picture has gotten some good reviews for her, and I've even seen some trailers where she seems to be very appealing. I don't know what my problem is with Whoopi Goldberg. I don't know what it is.
I think for Rick, for you, it's probably the name. I think.
No, I love the name.
Oh, okay.
I love the name Whoopi Goldberg. Hey, what is this movie? It Could Happen to You. Who?
It Could Happen to You was probably easily the best date movie of the summer. This is very thinly based on a true incident of a cop who gives a waitress a $2.5 million tip in the lottery with Nicolas Cage. And Bridget Fonda. Very light on its feet, very enjoyable, very predictable.
Not doing anything?
It's doing all right. It was...
I got it right here.
You got it right there. It could happen. It's going to finish at about 30, 35, which is nothing great, but still doing very well. And I said, it's really the only nice, romantic, light comedy date movie out there.
But okay, Doug, but look, I mean, it's got a great cast, and you call it a great date movie, but the fact of the matter is, it only did last week, it did $4 million, and it's only done $23.5 million total. If it's a great date movie with that cast, why isn't it doing better than that?
Probably because I think a lot of people have a problem with Nicolas Cage. I think a lot of people, a lot of the summertime movie fans are kids who probably don't have dates. They're going and seeing The Mask and Jim Carrey because they have no social life. I don't know. Andrew Bergman's films like The Freshman and even Honeymoon in Vegas don't do huge numbers because they come off a little more mature than, it doesn't have... Winona Ryder in it or something like that.
What's the problem with Nicolas Cage? I thought he was a popular actor.
I think Nicolas Cage has a great cult following, but with his kind of wild man impressions we've seen in Wild at Heart and other things like that. But I think for mainstream, he still hasn't been in the big hit. I mean, a lot of people who love the film Raising Arizona with Nicolas Cage is another crowd that I think the movie does much more popular on video and then it hit theaters because everyone what's this movie? What's that title? It's strange, and some people just don't like strangeness in movies.
All right, when we come back, I'm going to tell Doug Thomas about two movies that I have seen recently that I think are fabulous. I can hardly wait to hear his opinion on that. And you can ask your questions of Doug Thomas having to do with movies, new movies, old movies, on video, whatever. Hey, Doug is the cinemaven. He knows everything there is to know about this kind of stuff. You can call and ask Doug stuff at 441-5464 in Seattle, 1-800-833-5464. That's the number throughout the state. It's 2:43 at King 1090.
Rick Miller on King News Talk 1090.
Darling, show me.
We're breaking in for an important bulletin.
We're here talking to a local farmer who claims to have seen the alien's vehicle.
Oh, it was huge, metallic looking. I'll be honest with you, I was a little scared.
Well, please continue.
Well, then it stopped. It made this noise like... And the doors opened, so I took a peek inside. Hey, why not?
This is unbelievable. What did you see?
Well, I saw these aliens. Well, they look kind of like eggs, but why don't you ask that fella? He was the one driving the vehicle.
Hey, look, I was just driving my truck, delivering these eggs from back east.
Why would anyone want eggs from out of state when we can get Washington eggs? All you gotta do is look for the WA by the date stamp or the Washington Egg Producer's logo. It's not that tough, right? Of course, unless your mind's been captured.
Hey, I just deliver them.
Well, the mystery of where the alien eggs have come from has been answered for now. We'll keep you updated as things develop. Back to you, Bob.
Are you ready for a talk show that doesn't follow those same old rules as every other talk show? Hi, this is Tom Leykis, and coming up on the next Tom Leykis show, we'll get together and talk about the issues you really care about. No, we won't spend the whole show bashing President Clinton. We have a variety of topics. Sometimes it's politics, sometimes it's relationships. It could be anything. Your phone calls are always welcome. A different kind of talk radio. The Tom Leykis Show, late afternoon, starting at 3 on King News Talk 1090.
Don't settle for one side of the story. Get balanced news talk with variety. King News Talk 1090.
You know who this is, Doug?
No clue.
Who is it?
Oh, it's who's on
Doug Thomas, the video maven, the cinemaven. Doug.
Yes.
I have seen 2 movies.
And I do have a Who album, by the way.
I have seen 2 movies in the last couple of weeks.
Yes, sir.
These are great movies, Doug,
Okay.
in my view.
Okay, talk to me.
One is Red Rock West, who a friend of mine, a gal friend of mine, who is a really she thinks it's the best movie she's ever seen. Red Rock West, and the other one, you know what I rented the other day? Raging Bull.
Ah, yes.
Okay, your opinion.
Okay, first off on Red Rock West is a interesting... Nicolas Cage. Interesting little film noir. If you like this movie, check out a movie on video. Write this down, Rick, called Kill Me Again. It's from the same director who has this really fun look at taking kind of a 50s film noir and kind of pumping it up. He's done the same kind of movie with Kill Me Again with Val Kilmer that he did with Val Kilmer. Well, there you go. 2 of your favorites right there. Yeah. He's going to rent it tonight. And Red Rock West actually came out in the video before it came out in the theater. It changed distributors. Someone else bought it, and they said they liked it so much they put it in a couple of film festivals. A man named Roger Ebert went gaga over it, and it played theaters. I thought it was a great 2-beer movie. You know, Friday night, grab a couple beers. I don't even drink, but it would probably be a 2-beer movie. And very enjoyable. Dennis Hopper, of course, plays the psycho villain. He plays the Dennis Hopper role, I call it. And it's very enjoyable. I didn't think it was anything great, but I would recommend it definitely on video. It's a great little sleeper. And Raging Bull, it's not a comedy. Sean tells me he had someone in the back of the theater who, if he's listening to now, Sean would like your address and blow up your house. No. The other movie, Raging Bull, okay, here we go. Raging Bull was named the top film of the 80s by a listing of tons of critics.
Martin Scorsese, great filmmaker. I personally didn't like the film. That is one that I am in the small, minuscule minority of this film. I think it's a great looking film. I think it's a, Why didn't you like it?
It's an easy out to say I didn't like the human, the individual in it. In fact,
well, nobody did.
Yeah, but I
Jake LaMotta, the former middleweight champion.
I think as a kid I was really pissed off that De Niro won the Oscar over Peter O'Toole in The Stuntman that same year, which I thought was a truly marvelous performance. And I'd seen the Raging Bull thing before. I'm in the minority. I've taken my whaps on the head with that for Raging Bull, and I like Scorsese. I like Goodfellas. I think one of his best movies is After Hours, which a lot of people don't even know about. But
wait a minute, that's
After
Scorsese?
Hours, yeah, it's a very black comedy about a very bad date with Griffin Dunn. It's a very good film.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's take a call. Here is Sabrina in Tacoma on King 1090. Yes, Sabrina.
Hi, Rick.
Hello.
I wanted to ask about the movie The Client.
Yes.
I saw The Firm and I thought it was wonderful, and I read the book.
Okay.
But I haven't seen The Client yet, and I wanted to know how that compared to The Firm. And
I think it's if you like The Firm, the movie, this is just as good. I was very surprised that I really liked it. Grisham, writes basically screenplays. His novels are so wonderfully put together. It's like reading a screenplay almost, and they adapt very well. This is I was not prepared to enjoy this film at times because of the director Joel Schumacher has done some just films I hate, like Lost Boys and Flatliners and Falling Down. But he's really reinvented himself. It's a clever thriller. Stick to straight to the story. Susan Sarandon, Tommy Lee Jones do very good. The kid in it, who's really the star, does very well in it. And I was a big fan of The Firm, even though it was changed radically from the book. I thought it was an improvement on the book. I thought The Pelican Brief was boring and TV-ish, and I thought The Client got it right back on the horse and did just fine. It's a perfect summer weather thriller.
I tried to read The Pelican Brief, and I just couldn't get into that. And I rented the movie, and I tried to watch that, too. It's one of those where you can't even turn away. Do you agree with that? Or because I've met people that have just left it, and I just...
away from the two stars, Denzel Washington and Julia Roberts, I have a problem because there's no weight to it. In The Firm, you have this great supporting cast. Everything seems vital, important that it's happening. With The Pelican Brief, I'm watching a bad TV movie with Robert Culp being the president and Tony Goldwyn, and it just had no weight for me. It was just one long big chase. But I would definitely, if you're, it sounds like you're a fan of Grisham, go pay your $7. I think you'll enjoy The Client.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you, Sabrina. Thank you very much. I also, Ian Henry, one of our young board operators here, He loaned me the movie Bull Durham, which I have now watched half of, and I'm going to turn it off. I'm surprised. I love Susan Sarandon. I think Kevin Costner is as wooden as they come, but it's baseball. I should love this movie. I am bored to tears.
Okay, Rick, you're never coming over to my house now. That's all I can say.
Do you love Bull Durham?
I think Bull Durham's a terrific film, yeah.
What's terrific about Bull Durham?
As a sports movie, it's one that actually the sports comes off true to it. I mean, it doesn't seem false or anything at all. I think as a date film, as a comedy, as a romantic film, it works very well. Mm-hmm. Kevin Costner, we've had this debate all the time. I think this is probably Costner's best role, just because he seems to be, I can't think of another actor who comes off as well or could have come off as well being this old scrappy catcher. I think maybe Ken Russell, who was also a baseball player in a former life, could have done it also. It's smartly written, it sings, and it's also got a great surprise in it, and as an actor we know now is Tim Robbins. Now almost anyone had heard of him. He'd done movies like Howard the Duck.
I thought he was
before this, and Nuke LaLoosh, I think, is one of the true great comic characters of the 80s.
I will agree with you that Robbins is worth watching, but Susan Sarandon, who I love with all of my heart and soul, even she's boring me in this movie.
Well, just fast forward to the love scenes at the end, Rick. That's all I can say.
Is there love scenes at the end?
Oh, yeah, there's very famous love scenes
all
at
right.
the end. Okay.
All right, I'll fast forward to the love
Be tacky, fast forward to the sex. There you go.
251, King 1090.
You open the tropical green can of MJB Hawaiian Blend. You brew, you pour, you sit, you sip. Things begin smoothing out. You watch golden rays of sun streaming softly through your kitchen window. You contemplate how many grains of fine white sand there are on a deserted beach. You take another sip of smooth Hawaiian Blend. Suddenly, you notice where your toddler hid the extra set of house keys. Your all-time favorite song comes on the radio, and for a moment, you're 15 again. You finish your coffee and get ready to glide back into your day. But why rush? There's still time for a second cup.
If you'd like to experience smooth new MJB Hawaiian Blend, just MJB Hawaiian Blend. Enjoy the smoothness.
There's no doubt QFC is particular when it comes to quality, and they take the same approach towards sales. A perfect example is the National Brand Sale. Drop by QFC during the second week of the National Brand Sale, and you'll find hundreds of name brand items, from Kellogg's to Pepsi, at substantially reduced prices. This week, 3 one-pound quarters of Imperial Regular or Light Spread are just $1. 64-ounce bottles of Gatorade Thirst Quencher are 2 for $3. And 2 12-ounce packages of assorted Jimmy Dean sausage are only $3. So stop by your neighborhood QFC today, or do your grocery shopping by phone or fax with QFC's Express Home Delivery Service. It's the National Brand Sale at QFC, where you'll find great savings on your favorite name brand items. QFC, you know it's going to be good.
You need to start your day informed. But does the news have to be so depressing? I mean, let's face it, sometimes it's pretty grim stuff. Crime and violence, politicians, the deficit, even killer bees. That's why we created the King 1090 Morning News. Sure, we've got all the news, even the killer bees, but we also offer the humor of Pat Cashman from Almost Live. News with a sense of humor? Why not? Sometimes the best way to deal with real life is to laugh.
Pat Cashman and Company, a fresh new look at the news on King News Talk 1090.
Friends, we're just about all through with the Who, at least for a while.
There's nothing more bizarre than seeing Sean in his Racer X t-shirt air guitaring Who. It's not a pretty sight, folks.
And down the stretch they come.
I have a fax here, Doug.
Yes, sir.
I have a fax, Doctor.
Yep.
Lovely
Get
lady.
to it, Rick. There you go.
Lovely lady named Pam wants to know about Choose Me.
Ooh.
She says it's about talk radio and total miscommunication and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
Great.
It's a great film. Alan Rudolph, who's one of the Seattle favorites, he did The Moderns and Suddenly it fails me what else he's done. But this was a film came out in the 80s. I think it's for adults, it's the most dangerous first date movie you'll ever go to.
Dangerous?
Yeah, because it's all about what your date's really feeling. Are they just being happy or are they really happy?
Who's in it?
Leslie Ann Warren, Keith Carradine, a lot of regulars from Teddy Pendergrass did
I love that Leslie Ann Warren.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, she's good. She's in also a new movie starring tomorrow, Color of Money, which is out. Alan Rudolph, yes, also did Trouble in Mind, which is shot here in Seattle, the best-looking film ever shot in this city.
Trouble in Mind?
Yeah.
Oh, I like that movie. I saw Chris Christopherson.
Right.
Leslie, if I may be permitted one quick aside, Leslie Ann Warren has a nice bod.
Oh, get thee to Color of Night. Well, especially get thee to the unrated version of Color of Night, which will come out in video in about 6 months. But that's another story.
Who is the director of Choose Me?
Choose Me is Alan Rudolph, same guy who did Trouble in
Alan,
Mind.
you said that.
Yeah.
I don't know Alan Rudolph, unfortunately.
Well, you will.
Julie in a car phone, you're on King 1090.
Hi. Dangerous Woman, Deborah Winger.
Yes.
What do you think about it? What about the new movie with her and Anthony Hopkins that's out?
Shadowlands.
Shadowlands.
She did 2 films that is kind of a great comeback for her. Shadowlands is a very good English story of, heaven fail me, who's the author? Anthony Hopkins plays, no one's going to help me in the studio.
I don't know what you're...
The famous author who, never mind, I don't know.
You got me bugged.
Jeez.
Did you like Dangerous Woman? I
didn't like Dangerous. C.S. Lewis, thank you very much. The Shadowlands deals with that, and Anthony Hopkins gives his best performance to date in that movie, and Winger's just as good. Dangerous Woman I didn't really like. I think it's a good performance. A lot of them. Barbara Hershey and Gabriel Byrne are in it. It's a kind of a single-minded, very slow story of a character study, but it's a great little pickup for any fan of Deborah Winger on video, because they heard of Shadowlands, they probably didn't hear of a Dangerous Woman.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
You're entirely welcome, Julie.
C.S. Lewis. Okay.
Yeah, C.S. Lewis, Andrea.
He didn't have anything to do with the Who, did he? Okay.
Spanking the Monkey.
Yeah?
I see that in your review of Spanking the Monkey, which you say gets 2 stars, and your very last line, I like it. The title refers to exactly what you think it does. Does it really?
Yeah, it does.
Do you suppose there's anybody out there that doesn't know?
This is a very high-minded crowd. I'm sure they all get it. Oh.
Roger in Lake Stevens, you're on King 1090.
Yeah, hi.
Hello.
I'm looking for a movie called Fear, about a psychic. I don't know, was it an HBO movie or what? I saw it on a boat I was on.
There's a couple movies called Fear. One was with...
Was it recently?
It was about 1990. She worked for the police, then...
Ali Sheedy, that's what I'm thinking.
The murderer started stalking her.
Was it really good?
It was good.
Gee, that sounds pretty good.
It was better than Cape Fear.
I think you're thinking of Fear here with Ali Sheedy. I know it's on video. Let me see here. Young psychic who helps police crack tough cases, find out she's up against a bizarre killer. Does that sound right? Okay, it is. It's called Fear. It's with Ali Sheedy and Lauren Hutton. I want to say we have a copy at Rain City Video, but I think it was a cable movie. You're right. And I would just call around to try to find it, but it is on video.
All right.
Okay. There you go. Simple as that.
Simple as that.
We get the job done.
We get the doggone job done. Do you want to explain briefly, Doug? Mm-hmm. I actually went to the library one time because I wanted to understand what film noir means. And for those listeners, it's film, N-O-I-R, noir. And they make constant references to it, critics do, as if everybody knows. I'm not sure everybody does know what film noir is.
Film noir is a French term. I was trying to find a poem that actually Roger Ebert wrote that I thought was a very clear, precise telling. I don't have it with me. That it comes from the 50s movies that kind of were black and white, were definitely told with shadows. Probably the most famous one is The Third Man, and it's kind of been bastardized into a word, into any type of thriller now, like Color of Night, or even some people have called Basic Instinct of film noir. But I think the true film noirs have a kind of an old type feeling, and Red Rock West has that. You have the lonely character, which usually it deals with, usually out on his own, and it's told more as much as with camera as it is with story. I would label that.
Thank you, Doug.
Bob O'Reilly.
You you brought it right up to the closing moments of the show.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Doug Thomas, Cinemaven Communications, and our freelance movie and video reviewer.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Doug. Tom Likas is up next, my friends, of course, live from L.A. Thanks to Sean Splain, our music director and board man. Andre DeCou, our producer, thank you. Janet Ryan watching the traffic, thank you, Janet. Bill Polish and Steve Reeder, of course, they take care of the news on the Rick Miller Show. In fact, they take care of the news, period, at this hour. Joe Fiala, our engineer, keeping the train on the tracks. Thank you, Joe. Hug the kids. They deserve it, and so do you. And until tomorrow at noon, don't you dare be late. I'm Rick Miller on the radio.
Seattle's only news talk station with variety. King News Talk 1090. KING, Seattle.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Bob Hart. They'll go back to the bargaining table in the baseball strike next week. And the head of the Federal Mediation Service, John Wells, says a federal mediator will be there to help.
These negotiations will include expanded membership at the bargaining table, including a representative sample of owners and players, reflective of both large and small market clubs.
Up to now, the team owners themselves have not been at the bargaining table, only for negotiators. And the head of the Players Union, Donald Fear, says getting a few owners to attend is no guarantee of progress.
The mere fact that owners are present does not mean it's terribly easy to reach solutions. It is, I think, more difficult if they're not present.
The owners' chief negotiator, Richard Ravitch, figures the presence of a federal mediator will help the baseball talks.
We think it's the beginning of a constructive process. We hope very much that it results in a success as soon as practicable.
Former Major Leaguer Jim Bunning, now a congressman from Kentucky, is co-sponsoring a bill to end baseball's exemption from the antitrust laws.
I believe this is a solution that both sides would be looking for.
Bunning says ending the antitrust exemption would remove the players' incentive to strike and get them back on the field while contract talks continue. This is day 7 of the baseball strike, 86 games down the drain so far. And it's hurting people like Mel Rose. He owns a couple of restaurants near the ballpark in Cleveland. Says business is way off with the players away.
If they came back to play tomorrow, we would be ready. If the strike continues through the weekend, then I've got to look at what I'm going to do next week. We've got about 145 employees, and so I just have to cut back.
Now this.
Welcome to Origins of Political Philosophy in Medieval Horticulture. Your first assignment will be to read the entire 22-volume set of the history of herbs in Arthurian cosmogony by next Tuesday.
When they go back to school, students are going to need all the help they can get. At Radio Shack, we're offering back-to-school survival packs. They've got everything from mini tape recorders to scientific calculators. And there's one for every student from grade school to graduate school. Radio Shack. You've got questions, we've got answers.
Trust no one. She is the Hunter, a tough, street-smart probation officer who knows all the tricks of